Hey, let me react to this Dragon Ball trailer. I don't watch too much. I don't want to watch too many of this stuff, but it's too late now. You know, I'm getting spoiled every day, little by little. Oh, I'm still wearing the Trigon coat. Little by little, I'm watching these spoilers. You know, I already know a lot about it. Let's just watch it. Let's just see if this is the final trailer for Japanese. Let's see. This is like after it already came out. I think it's already out now in Japan. Wow, a lot of spoilers. A lot of spoilers here. I'm basically watching the movie right here. You know, a good thing about watching trailers is you could react to it without being in a theater. It's like a fake cell. Could it be real? Oh my god. Wow, they actually went there. That's gonna be censored. Interesting. Piccolo super form. That's like a robot cell, or is that actually cell? A lot of spoilers. Interesting. That might just be Cell. He's back. The rematch. We already saw this. Wow, there it is. There it is. The purple. That's Hype Guy. That's Games Cage right there. Bruh. Broly crying. What the hell? Yeah, where's Broly? You know, every time when it's like that meme when you beat the boss, then they become like easy to kill. Broly, what are you doing? You were so cool in the other movie. Now you can't do anything. He looks like Cell is under control. This could be a new Cell. That might be what they're doing. The Red Ribbon Army. They could be making a new Cell with like upgrades with like the blood of Super Saiyan Blue or something. So then you got these guys. That's probably what it is. These could be the equivalent of 17 and 18 for this Cell. Maybe absorbs them later. Yeah, he's after them. Yeah, that's the second form. Interesting. The Cell Saga, the movie. Red. Interesting color scheme. This is when they first fight those guys. Vegeta and Goku, or Goku and Vegeta, usually you say it that way, are on the planet training as usual. So they might even come to the planet. But they usually do, and it's like, oh, there's trouble over there, let's go. Maybe this time they can't. Maybe there's some sort of field blocking them. Piccolo gets this super form. That's cool. That's a big fan fiction thing. Like Piccolo could have, since they introduced the possibility that those Namekians from the other planet absorbed all the Namekians to become a super form. Who did he absorb? I wonder. Maybe, I have no idea. That's a good question there. Maybe he just attained it himself. Is that Dende? That might be Piccolo in the outfit. Maybe he absorbed Dende. Poor Dende. He had to do it. He has some sort of insignia there. His arms are bleeding. His skin ripped off. Cell's turning to stone there. That's a big thing. Maybe, I was thinking, maybe they resurrected Cell using Majin Buu technology where whoever receives damage, the androids that receive damage resurrect Cell. Or his first form, but that's his second form. So that's interesting. Why is he turning to stone? Deborah? Or maybe that's a new form. Maybe Piccolo has a new ability taken from Deborah, perhaps. So many. That's the great thing about Dragon Ball. There's so many possibilities that could be going on here. That's so many options that could happen. They got this guy. That looks Piccolo. That's good. Piccolo got an upgrade finally. Update. Piccolo 11. The Jiggle. Pan fighting. Attacking. Goku and Vegeta fighting, right? Very good martial arts animations there. Like it actually is a technique. Very skilled form. Krillin got smaller somehow. He keeps shrinking. He's tiny. He's becoming a kid again. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he wished. Maybe that's what the wish was. Maybe the wish was for maybe for Cell to come back But I don't think so. It looks like a new Cell. Or maybe that Goku and Vegeta can't return to the planet. What's going on here? He's blowing up, maybe? He's shooting a bunch of lasers. Both androids are there. Both of those red ribbon guys are there, at least. I don't know if they're androids. But, so that's interesting, because Cell is still in his second form, so maybe he doesn't need those guys. I don't know what's happening with my camera. We'll just have to deal with that. It's not too bad. Maybe that's because of low lighting. On the left there's some sort of contraption that could be like the Majin Buu energy stealing device. That could be what the lasers are. It's trying to steal energy from nearby entities. It also seems like it's spiked into the ground, kind of like how Babidi's energy stealing device was. It had a piercer. Now who's up here? I'm not sure who that is. This could be Piccolo, right here. Not sure if that's even a person. So Cell could be trying to get these guys with the lasers or anyone to absorb. It's either they're avoiding it. There's Trunks, so this might be Goten. That could be Goten, Trunks, and Piccolo, or Gohan. He's doing that. It seems like they're all teaming up against Cell there. Gotenks and Piccolo. That's Cell right there. I think the android's on the floor next to Cell. He's desperate, trying to save him. And they're going for it. So Gotenks probably messed up the fusion because it's been a while. Gohan's getting him out of there. Super Saiyan 2 seems like. Nice. Oh! Gohan rage explodes, or maybe he's avoiding an attack, charging. Then he gets surprised. Maybe because Piccolo dies or something. It's like one frame. Piccolo's losing there. Damn, he looks cool though. He has like the black eyes like Majin Vegeta. Or Super Saiyan 4. Red eyes. His arm, Cell's arm. Those androids might have, those superhero guys might have a stone attack thing. Maybe, I think that's Piccolo though. Gohan, his eyes are red. Shinobi eye. We're looking at the transformation right here. How does he do that? He just does it. Maybe Piccolo dies here. Canon. Just big blue aura there. I mean, he's been fighting with gods and stuff for a while now, so he's got like the rose aura with silver hair. Is this No. Is this Ultra Instinct? No, it could be. White hair. The gray hair could be a rose Ultra Instinct mixture, like Trunks had a Super Saiyan Blue mixture form. He's insane. He's gone insane. Look at that. That's cool. Hey. Superhero. These guys are probably just stuck on the planet. They can't get to them. Maybe that's what's going on. They can't get there. They can't travel. But they know what's going on. Or maybe they... What planet is that? That looks like Beerus's planet. Because I think Broly's planet was like a desert or something. Interesting. Well, that's my actual genuine reaction. All right. They just spoiled everything. I mean, hey. I saw most of that stuff on Twitter, so it's already too late. You might as well watch the trailer. I saw the form. I saw Piccolo's form, Gohan's form. I think I saw Cell. I'm getting better at forcing myself to forget these things. That's fine. You know what? Hey, it's okay. We just watched the movie. What else was there? This is the final trailer. The final one. I don't know why would you watch a trailer if you didn't want spoilers? I mean, if you know you're gonna see it, I don't know. Well, that's a different video. We all have our philosophies about that. Okay, that's it. That's it, everybody. Hope you all have a great day.